Good Wednesday afternoon, everybody. My name is Krystle Holleman here with first Alert Meteorologist Colton Cichoracki. How are you today?
I am well. How are you?
I'm good, but it's a little rainy and dreary out there.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Well, you know, it's better than what we had last night. You know, I was looking at some of the ice reports. We saw about 1/10 of an inch of ice accumulate in both Lansing and Jackson overnight. I noticed I had a thin coating of ice on my car this morning.
I saw some this morning and on the sidewalks too. Pretty scary.
But the good news is that temperatures have already warmed up in the 40s, even some lower 50s out there. So all of that's melting away. It won't be an issue anymore. But for the remainder of the day, we're just going to be tracking our chances at seeing a few showers and maybe even a few thunderstorms.
And some lightning?
Possibly some lightning.
We do have some really cool video out of, you said it was Wichita, Kansas, right?
Yeah, that's near Wichita anyways.
Okay, near Wichita. So this is some video out of Kansas with some kind of crazy lightning.
Yeah.
And is there anything you can tell us about this? I know that coming up from the ground into the clouds is kind of wild.
There's a lot of different types of lightning. This one, I don't think it's all that common, but you can get ground to cloud lightning. Typically you see cloud to ground lightning or in the clouds, but there's all different types. It just depends on where all the charges are, you know, outside and in the atmosphere to cause this. But this is just a crazy lightning show that is on display there. Again, with some of those thunderstorms that they get in the Midwest and Kansas, Missouri, things like that, I'm not surprised they see things like this. Luckily, we don't normally see as strong as thunderstorms, but again, that's pretty crazy video. And I did want to point out, you know, just reading, there was a tornado kind of near. I used to live down that way in the town I used to live in. That was in St. Joseph, Missouri. So they did see some severe weather during the day. Yesterday, there's a big severe weather threat to our south today, down in Mississippi. There's a moderate risk for severe weather. So that's something that we don't necessarily have to worry about too much here. However, we have been seeing some of those thunderstorms. But I want to show you satellite radar. If we can switch over to that. Now, I'm starting off in Missouri because you can see, or in Kansas near Wichita, where that lightning video was from. And that's the storm system that is brought that is now to the east of that area. And now it's moving towards us here in mid-Michigan. So what we're keeping an eye on is we have this pretty nice surge of moisture moving through central parts of Illinois, now moving into the southwestern parts of Michigan right now. Now, a lot of the models lately have been suggesting that a lot of this was going to miss us to the north, but it's going to be, I think it's moving a little bit further to the east, so I am expecting us to see at least some rain as we get into the afternoon hours, maybe a few rumbles of thunder, some lightning is possible with some of this as well as it moves generally in our direction here. So just prepare for some more wet roadways, have the umbrellas handy and things like that, because we're likely going to see some rain once we get into the afternoon and evening hours, and then we'll see some more rain later on tonight. So we're kind of just in a dreary weather pattern as it's very strong. It's a very strong area of low pressure that's to our north and west. It's going to be windy as temperatures today will be pushing up into the 50s and 60s. So let's go into your hour-by-hour forecast. Again, this model is one of those models that I mentioned that keeps most of the rain off towards the north and west. I do expect it to be a little bit further to the south and east, so we expect to see some rain showers once we get towards 4 or 5 o'clock here across mid-Michigan. So you drive home from work, likely we'll run into at least some wet roadways out there. But temperatures today should manage to get into the 50s, even some lower 60s later today. So it will end up being a warm afternoon here. But then later tonight, I would say this is a little bit better opportunity of seeing some widespread rain. We're going to see a cold front that moves through, and that front is going to drop our temperatures, but it's also going to bring us some rain overnight tonight. So by tomorrow morning, that Thursday morning drive, you'll likely run into wet roadways once again, as we'll see some on and off showers, maybe a few thunderstorms out there as well, but not expecting that to be a huge issue once we get into the morning hours of our Thursday. But our temperatures are going to be falling throughout the day, so you know what that means is that we may, it's not likely, but we may see a few flakes of snow mix in once we get into the
snow.
You know, I know it's all my fault, but we are tracking that chance to go into tomorrow. So we have just seen these roller coaster rides time and time again. It's March, at the end of March here in mid-Michigan. This is kind of what we see. But I will say tomorrow, it's not going to be a washout by any means. We're going to see some scattered rain, mainly during the morning, maybe a few snowflakes mixing in once we get into the afternoon. But Krystle, it's also going to be windy. So I wanted to show you a graphic.
Yay!
Yes.
Sorry, I was just yelling at everybody. I love this one.
There it is. Where is your trash can? Again, so if it's trash day for you tomorrow, make sure that you're prepared for that because we are going to be seeing some pretty windy conditions. And in my opinion, I think it's going to be probably in your neighbor's yard because we're going to see winds today anywhere between 15 to 20 miles per hour. They pick up a little bit tonight. So if you're going to put the trash can out tonight before you go to bed, make sure that you are aware that the trash can is probably going to blow around a little bit. Tomorrow, the highest wind gusts are going to be happening during the morning hours. Wind gusts around 40 miles per hour expected, but they should begin to wind down once we get into the afternoon hours of our Thursday. So it's really for the next, I would say, 12 to maybe 24 hours here that we're going to see some of the windiest times before our winds begin to die down once we get into the afternoon hours of tomorrow. And the winds are going to generally be coming from the south today, and then they'll change more from coming from the west once we get into the day tomorrow. I'll show you that with some of the specific numbers here with our wind gusts. Now, this is just through the rest of the afternoon. It's going to be breezy out there, but the southerly wind direction, you can see that little arrow at the bottom, that's bringing in that warmer temperatures for us. So that's why we are seeing those temps warm up into the 50s and 60s this afternoon. But I do want to talk about some longer range outlooks here. Now, even looking at some of the model data that goes out into our 6 to 10 day outlook. Now, this is issued, we show this sometimes on air. This is issued by the Climate Prediction Center. And I just want to talk about it real quick because people are wondering, when are we going to warm back up?
Yes.
Yeah, we've seen some 70s already this year, but overall, it doesn't look like we're going to warm up all that much. Now, what we're looking at here is where you see the gray color, that's kind of an equal chance of seeing below or above normal chances. So more than likely what this is showing is that this is likely going to show that we're going to see near normal temperatures, above normal temperatures expected to our west and to our east. So we're kind of just in between this. Then I'll zoom in a little bit closer. But one thing that we'll likely see, again, this is from April 4th through April 8th. It's hard to believe that April starts on Friday.
Yeah.
But also it's going to mean is that we do have continued chances of seeing above normal precipitation. So it does look like once we get into next week in particular, that we'll see renewed chances at seeing some showers. Nothing looks major at this point, but I can tell you some of our longer range models do show system after system moving in here with some predominantly rain chances once we get into next week. And again, the average high this time of year is in the lower 50s. And here's a look at the 10-day temperature trend. Today, by far the warmest, will likely get to around 60 degrees in many communities. But then after today, we see temperatures falling back down into the 40s, 49 tomorrow. I will say that's early on. Temperatures are going to be falling throughout the day. So by the afternoon on Thursday, we're probably only going to be seeing temperatures in the 30s and 40s. And then after that, we do see some warmer temperatures, but back into the 50s. Overall, that's very close to where we should be, if not a few degrees below normal for this time of year. And then even by the end of next week, we fall back down into the upper 40s for daytime highs. So if you're looking for 70s and sunshine, I just don't have that for you.
All right.
I wish I did, but at this point, it just looks like we're in that, spring-like pattern of rain chances and temperatures that are kind of dreary outside.
So I was talking to Justin Bradford about this yesterday. It's kind of that time of year where you're wearing your warmer coat when you come to work, and then by the time you're leaving, maybe your windows are down if it's not raining, maybe your air is on, we're not really sure. It's just typical for this time of year.
Yeah.
And it'll be short-lived, hopefully.
Yeah, and our average high has ticked up into the lower 50s, and by the time we get into the middle and end of April, our average high gets up into the 60s. So we are right there. We're so close to some of this warmer air, but again, just over the next 10 days, it does look like we're going to see more of a roller coaster ride with our temperatures in the 40s and 50s. I will say that some models do have us getting a little bit warmer once we get towards the end of next week into next weekend, possibly back into the 60s, but it's still so far out.
Yeah.
Things can change, and something that we'll be keeping a close eye on here over the next couple of days.
We got opening days coming up.
Exactly.
We got to have some warm weather, some sunshine for
yeah,
those
lug
opening
nuts on
days.
next Friday, right?
And Tigers.
Yeah.
We got
so
much baseball coming up.
Yeah, we need to get some warmer temperatures in here, but it does look like we're going to have to hold off a little bit.
Well, speaking of some winds and some temperatures, we actually have some really cool video from Michigan State University of some peregrine falcons that have made a nest up there. We're actually going to have this later on today on News 10 Today, starting with first at 5. But we have here, I know, we believe that's Mom, and she is actually sitting on one of the eggs right now. We think she only has one right now, but our Claudia Sella actually talked with some people at MSU, and that's Dad.
Oh.
Yep. They're very talkative, and Claudia Sella just got done talking to some people at MSU about this, about the Falcons, what they, why they're there, how long they're there, just kind of some background on them, but she just left Dad there with the baby. So
How about that?
yeah,
It's kind of cool.
I know, like it's kind of hard to see how big they are, but they are actually the fastest animal on Earth,
Really?
according to our digital EP Jake. Yeah, he said that they are the fastest animal on Earth.
I did not know that.
Jake said it.
Well, you know, we learn something new every day.
So we will have more on those falcons, what they are doing at MSU, some background on them, what we can expect out of them coming up later on today, starting with News 10 First at 5. Claudia Sella will have that for you, and then we will see you a little bit later, correct?
Yeah, Studio 10 will have an updated forecast. And, of course, make sure you always download the News 10 First Alert Weather app. We'll post updates in there. I just posted an update in there a few minutes ago. Search WILX Weather in your Google Play Store or App Store, however you get your apps on your phone, on your smartphone, because it's very useful. And you can also watch the radar with us, you know, with the rain showers that are expected once we get into the afternoon hours of today.
I know now that it's getting warmer out and I'm having weekend plans, having that radar while I'm driving is so helpful for me, and it follows you where you're at. So if you're in Grand Rapids, it'll show you the radar in Grand Rapids. If you're in Detroit, same thing. So the radar is my favorite part.
And yeah, and you can zoom out. It won't just show mid-Michigan. You can actually have the radar show you anywhere. So even if you're out of town, going on vacation, you can use the app and look at the radar in there. Super useful. Can't stress it enough. It's so important, and it's free. And it'll also send you push notifications if when we get any chances for severe weather, which we're not expecting today, but any chances that we do have, you can get notifications right there on your phone of any watches or warnings that are issued.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Colton. Thank you all for watching. We will see you a little bit later on today.